and welcome to Spiritually Speaking. I'm Kate Romero, your host for today, and I would like to just introduce myself, being this is the first time that I'm hosting Spiritually Speaking. I am pinch hitting for Destiny Rael, and I thank Keith Malinsky for having me on today. This is wonderful. I am President and CEO of Guardian Angel Enterprises. I am probably the only progressive talent manager with a focus on consciousness on the planet, and I won't be the last. I am also host of Spiritual Hollywood radio show, which is a global internet radio show on every Tuesday. And I am a co-creator of Quantum Hypnotherapy and a Quantum Leap life coach, an author, and I have with me today a wonderful person you're going to enjoy immensely, John Stellar of Stellar Communications. And I'll just give you a little bit of background on John. John is, he actually lives in the WOW zone, which is the zone of no boundaries and no limitations. His approach to his work is to have a holistic, organic, grassroots approach where he attracts media attention for his clients rather than goes out looking for it, because he's using the ask, believe, receive model for his clients. And he is, his background is in broadcast journalism with NBC News, and he's been a PR professional for the last 14 years and is also a native of Santa Monica. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to John Stellar. Welcome, John.
Hi, Kate. Thanks so much for having me on.
You betcha.
Yeah, and the WOW zone, I love that. I hadn't considered that before, but my life is a wow, so it's perfect.
Absolutely. I thought that was a perfect way to describe you.
Yes.
So what I'd like to talk about today is what got you into PR in the first place, public relations, after having a background in journalism and broadcast news.
It was actually one of those accidents, you know, if you believe in accidents.
Yes.
And I had been working as a journalist, as you'd mentioned, and was really looking for a career that was going to use me in a way that felt great, you know, that used my soul and my gifts. Mm-hmm. Instead of selling my soul, I knew I didn't want to do that from a few experiences. So I, for the first time ever, quit a job in the hotel industry without another job lined up. And a number of things led me to my friend's wife's PR firm. She needed help. I said, I'll come in for 2 weeks. A year and a half later, I was building my own company, and 14 years later, it seems like 14 minutes. It's been an amazing ride.
Wow, and you're just getting started.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to just tell everybody about some of the clients that you have. Sure. We have some of their materials around for people to see. Rhonda Byrne from The Secret is one of your clients.
Yes.
Which she's bringing joy and happiness to billions, and
yes.
We all know about that. And you're also representing the Ojai Film Festival, which is enriching the human spirit through film.
Yes.
And Mix, which is MIXX, which is hip accessory products for cell phones, iPods, and computers that celebrities like to use. And Christopher Howard. Wow, Christopher Howard, I have a personal experience with Christopher. He does the Breakthrough to Success seminars, which I attended, and I also had him on my radio show. He was an amazing guest. Bringing dreams into real-world results is what Christopher does, and I can vouch for that. And you have Max Gold, who is the father of fusion art, and you have Hale Dwoskin, who's transforming minds and lives worldwide through the Sedona method. And you also have Mark Brunetz. Is that how I say his last name?
Yes.
And he's a hip and savvy expert in interior design for the Style Network. He does Clean House, that show. And Allison Armstrong, oh my gosh, mm-hmm. Wow, what an amazing lady. And she is the co-creator of the PAX programs, or is she the creator of the PAX programs?
She's the founder and creator. It was her vision.
Her vision, yeah. And PAX stands for peace, correct?
There's two meanings. One is PAX, the Latin word for peace, mm-hmm. and then the company also uses the acronym PAX for peace, adoration, and ecstasy.
Oh.
And the work is all about creating a greater understanding between the genders and more peace between men and women.
Right, transforming the way women relate to men.
All men.
All
Yeah.
men. That can change the world. I have to tell you, before I would like to discuss a little bit about each client that you represent and what it is you do for them.
Sure.
But my personal experience with Allison Armstrong and what she's up to with transforming the way women relate to men. I have a son who will be 25 in January, and I raised him as a single mom. Well, we're not just bonded, we're kind of laminated. But as he goes through his process and grows into a young man, I know that now, after reading Keys to the Kingdom, which is the book that Allison Armstrong wrote, if you wouldn't mind holding that up for
sure.
the audience to see.
This book here?
Fantastic book. It's one of the only books that I ever wanted to not end when I closed it. The last page, I was crying so much I could have put out all the fires. But it was just really, really a wonderful read, and it talks about how males go through the process in their life of starting out as a page when they're young boys, and then they go through the knight wannabe, and then they become a knight, and then they become a prince, and then they become a mid-prince, and then they go through that tunnel, which we refer to as midlife crisis, where they question everything, including their own identity. Right. And then on the other side of that tunnel is the king, and then if they choose to, they can go on and become an elder, which is someone who then devotes their life to serving others. So, wow, what an incredible journey that took me on. I had no idea that I didn't even have an idea of how much I didn't understand men until I read that book. And she also has CDs here, In Sync with the Opposite Sex. This program is the most incredible program. I can't stop listening to it. I've heard it several times in my car, and I just keep giving it away, and John keeps giving me more because he knows I'm going to give them away because I love it so much. But it's blessed me to no end about how to relate with men, how to relate with my clients, how to relate with family members, how to relate with my dry cleaner. It doesn't matter as long as it's a male human. There are things that they're thinking and going through and wondering about that us as women don't have a clue of. And for Allison to have this information, I would just like to be a fly on the wall and see how she learned all of this.
Right. Well, she's actually studied men for the last 16 years. And, I think most people today realize how different men and women are, but don't know what to do with that difference. And her work, her seminars for women, and now the co-ed seminars she's added really get to that. To further distinguish the difference, she talks about Joe and Susie Cave, Joe Caveman and Susie Cave Woman, and that we really do go back to instinct a lot more than we'd ever think about. And to understand the opposite sex from that point of view really gives us some more insight.
Well, right, and also the only thing in our DNA that's changed over our lifetimes as humans has been in the last 40,000 years, and that was when we got the ability to speak. So we've only actually had the ability to speak for 40,000 years, and you wonder why people in relationships don't talk. Right. It's because they're not that used to it. It wasn't an organic thing. It's something that we learned 40,000 years ago. So what Allison has come up with is she's finding a great way for men and women to relate to one another and to give each other the opportunity to really be present with one another and listen. And one of the biggest things I got in there was to really listen, because men won't talk if you're interrupting them. They'll be polite and just sit there and let you talk. But if you just listen, so I'm going to listen to you. Okay. Talk to me, John.
Well, obviously the work has impacted you greatly in a few weeks. I'm really thankful for that. And it's already made a difference for thousands of people. And we're just going to take that word out as far as we can. And so I'm glad that it was good for you.
Yeah.
And the one thing I wanted to share today was that people will ask who we work with, and we really do work with a diverse range of people, but what's similar is we work with people, I call them transformers, and not like the big box office movie with the machines, but people who are out to make a massive impact. In the case of Rhonda Byrne, it was joy to billions. And it doesn't hurt to think in those terms. If you've got a dream or a vision, why not take it out to the world? So you know, as much as our clients are teaching the world, I keep learning these great pieces, you know, about getting a big message out. So.
Right. Well, it's cyclical. I mean, you can't give without receiving. You can't receive without giving. It's just, you know, it feeds off itself. And I get that that's how you attracted media attention to your clients, is because you actually use the ask, believe, receive model, which Rhonda Byrne pretty much brought into our consciousness through The Secret. And I would love it if you would tell our audience how you met Rhonda Byrne and what happened when you met Rhonda.
Well, sure, and I'll do the nutshell version.
Okay. Nutshell.
Right. We had looked to connect one of our clients, Christopher Howard, with Bob Proctor, and I followed up with Bob for about 3 weeks to reach him. And then we needed an opening night film at the Tahoe Reno International Film Festival that we were promoting. It was 10 days out, and Al Gore's film Inconvenient Truth had been thought of for the opening night film, but it just never fell into place. Bob Proctor put us in touch with Rhonda Byrne's people, and within a day we had an answer of yes, that they'd like to bring the film to the festival. 10 days later we showed it. 2 days later, I'm in the lobby of the hotel with Rhonda and her sister, and she looks over at me, and we're about this far apart, and she says, "John, your company does PR and media?" And I said, "Yes, Rhonda." And she said, "You're the one." So I said, "Okay, God, we'll be the stewards of this great vision."
Wonderful.
And it's been an amazing ride ever since, and you know, I'm so happy that so many people have been impacted. And one of the things I wanted to say too is that one of our key targets of that campaign was to reach the man drinking a beer on the couch. You know, we really wanted to reach the people who wouldn't buy a self-help book or, you know, be involved in this kind of work yet. And I feel that we did that, and I'm really happy about that.
Well, for me, the uninitiated is what I call those folks.
Sure.
Is the ones who they're not aware. And if it took the promise that you can attract to yourself all the money and riches and wealth that you want, and the person on the couch drinking a beer, you know, not that that's a bad thing, but let's a couch potato person, somebody who pretty much feels like their life is over, and this is their lot in life, and this is the way it's going to be for the rest of their life. Watches The Secret or reads The Secret or hears The Secret on the audiobook or whatever the medium is that they find it, and they go, wow, I can create all this wealth, I can create this great big house, and this, I really want a Hummer, and I'm going to get a Hummer now, you know, and starts getting all excited. Well, that excitement, that enthusiasm, because enthusiasm really is a wonderful, wonderful attracting tool. And just to digress slightly, what I know about enthusiasm, and theos is the root word for enthusiasm, which is a Greek term for God. And when a person is enthusiastic, they're channeling source. Being this is spiritually speaking, I'm going to speak spiritually. So,
well said.
Yes. So you're channeling source when you're enthusiastic. So you get these people who just thought life was over for themselves, pretty much enthusiastic about, wow, I can do that myself, I really can. And it doesn't matter if what gets them excited is the hope for money or the hope for a Hummer or the hope for a new house or whatever it is, as long as they start realizing, R-E-A-L-E-Y-E-Z-I-N-G, realizing that they are in the driver's seat in their life. And whatever it is that inspires them to hop in that seat and take off towards whatever it is they want. If it's aiming at money, fine, so be it, bless it, because it's getting them in touch with, if they can attract money, they can attract love, they can attract health, they can attract happiness, they can attract peace on earth, they can attract a better job, they can attract finding their purpose and living a life they love, they can attract learning how to be of service rather than finding a way to just take all the time. You know, because I believe that as long as we're wealthy, we have then a greater opportunity to be benevolent and serve others. So I think we have a responsibility, being able to respond to being wealthy so that we can do that in front of people and be an inspiration and a role model for those who think they can't. So being wealthy is not a dirty thing, and having money is not a dirty thing. You know, money is not the root of all evil. Money is a tool to help make a better world. And I think it is very empowering to become wealthy doing great work and being of service. And I believe that everyone's entitled to that. So the secret really for me and for my family, I just wanted to give it to everybody, and I did. I gave it out as a gift to everybody I could think of, and I will never forget how I found it myself. And when somebody really wakes you up, you know, sometimes they flip you on the head or whatever it is. In this case, somebody gave me the secret, and I watched it, and I will never forget how I found it. It was through an actor who approached me for talent management, and he had on his website The Secret. And I said, "Hey, buddy, did you watch that?" And he goes, "No, I didn't. I'm just promoting it so I can get a free website." And I said, "That's crazy. Don't even talk to me until you watch that movie, and then I want you to write an essay on what you found there." And he watched it, and he wrote me back, and he said, "I don't know who you are or why you did that, but that was the best thing you could have ever asked me to do. That's the best movie I've ever seen. And here's what I got from it." And then I watched it myself, and I was like, wow, that was just so absolutely channeled through me to do this thing. And it was one of those dot connections that you do in your life. A dot connector. Let me read the definition of dot connector.
Sure. Thanks.
A dot connector, it's actually a noun. A person who has the gift of connecting the right people, products, programs, and or visions at just the right time. And that's what you do.
Yes.
And that's what happened there, and that's how I found the secret. So, you know, and not to go on and on about that the secret is your client, one of your many clients, wonderful clients. But it is a really wonderful awakening thing that has been brought to the world, and it's just gone around the world in a New York second, which
Sure.
makes me proud and honored to be a part of Spiritual Hollywood, because we're bringing spirituality to Hollywood, and Spiritually Speaking is doing the same thing. So what a delicious, wonderful, wonderful lifestyle you've created for yourself. So now tell us about the Sedona method. A little bit about that and how you met Hale Dwoskin.
Well, Hale Dwoskin is one of the 24 teachers featured in The Secret. So we met through The Secret. He was one of the first teachers to respond back to our notes, letting people know that we were on board and that we were coordinating media interviews and such. And I don't know what it was, but I'd always had this place inside me about Sedona. The word, the location just really called to me. And when I learned that his work was all about people letting go of negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions so that they could manifest what they wanted to have in their life, whatever that was. And I think that's one of the greatest things for me working with Hale and the other clients is awakening people to whatever it is for them, if it's a new career, if it's being a better parent. And so, as with Hale, with all our clients, that is what happens. So Hale was this great opportunity for us to have another player from The Secret involved, till more the soil that's out there for, you know, people around the world to awaken to whatever's there for them.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know that Hale is, we just went to a seminar last Sunday, and it was amazing and fantastic. It's all about letting go, and you can do that right now, just like having a pen in your hand and just drop the pen. You can let go of your pain, like right now.
Yes.
And there's nowhere to be, nowhere to get. You can just start from right now. And I think that's an awesome message to have out there. And he was a wonderful part of The Secret, one of the 24 teachers. So I'd like to just invite our viewers to Google John Stellar, Stellar, and check out what this young man is doing and see what's in his future. And I think that we've only just begun to hear about you and what you're doing. And also you have some other people who might be coming on board with you, Overcoming the Myths of Aging, which is a really, really wonderful thing that we're hearing a lot about these days.
Yes.
Because we are the only living entities on the planet who are not programmed to die. Animals are, plants are, people are not. So it is natural for us to live forever, basically, you know, and it is natural for us to use our natural resources to stay healthy. And it's in using the things that aren't natural resources that generally will make us sick, like the things with additives and chemicals and things like that. So I just really get, John, that your message is to uplift, empower, enlighten, inspire, and bring joy and happiness to the world. And I'm just so thrilled that you heard your calling, you acted on your calling, and that we ain't seen nothing yet from you.
No, just scratch the surface.
Scratching the surface, yes, and dot connecting. And
Yes.
the kukui nuts, if you'll just show our viewers your kukui nuts and the way we met. I believe we're going to have a part 2 to this program, and we'll talk about that when we do that.
Okay.
But I'd like to, at this time, just have our audience know that Spiritual Warriors is going to be shown for free at the Fine Arts Theater, and that will be every night from 7 to 10 p.m. November 19th through November 25th. Fine Arts Theater, and that's at 8556 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, 90211. And the phone number over there is 310-360-0455. I know that I'm going to be in the audience because I haven't seen this fine film yet, and I hope you'll be there too.
I'll be
and
there.
I hope you'll be there too. Come and see Spiritual Warriors, and you'll be so glad that you did. I'd like to know right now, if there's anything that you have on your heart that you just feel a need to say, whatever that is, if you just trust what's there, just to say.
Well, I'm, again, very honored to be here with you. Thank you for the opportunity to share, with the viewers of Spiritually Speaking. And I'm just so thankful to be here at this time today when the world is more open to peaceful, loving messages. And I'm honored to be a messenger of those. So, thanks.
Isn't it a wonderful time to be alive?
Yeah. It's the best.
It is the best. And you have a boy and a girl.
Yes.
You have children and a wonderful life, and you live very close to your office, and you have great friends. And
I live a charmed life.
you do.
Is what
You
I
do
do.
live a
Yeah.
charmed existence, and that is an inspiration in itself for everybody who knows you. And I just told you recently, and I mean it very much, is that I am so excited for every person who gets to meet you and who gets to be a part of your life and a part of your energy, because your heart is outside of you.
Yeah, a lot of moments it is.
Yes,
So.
totally, totally. And you pinch yourself quite regularly, don't
Every
you?
day at least once.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No bruises, though.
No.
No, it's
lightly,
good,
light
good,
pinching.
Good pinching,
Yeah.
good pinching. So when we come back to part 2 of our show, we'll talk more about the kukui nuts and more in depth about some of your other clients and more in depth about some of the things that you have in your vision for the next 5-10 years of stellar communications and all the stellar moments that we might get to enjoy with you for that. So without further ado, I would like to now at this time say thank you for watching Spiritually Speaking, and thank you for being with us. I'm Kate Romero, your host for today. We will have a part 2 with John Stellar of Stellar Communications and hear more about what he's up to and what we can expect from him and the future for a spiritual world. Thank you again for being with us today.